we're live, George.
Well, good evening, everyone. Hope we're doing well on this happy Monday. Even though Bob Geldof didn't like Mondays, but we do. Hope we're all doing well. I'll introduce you to my guest before we move on. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm all good. So just to let you know, in case you didn't know, James is on this one with me tonight. So
all right, cool. What do you from the show the other week? You both sound the same anyway, apparently. So it's fine.
Yeah, we switched over, didn't we? We reincarnated into each other.
Yeah, it's like a before and after.
yeah.
James, hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing well, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. We've also got Chantel. How are you doing?
Yep, good. Happy weekend all around for me with Liverpool losing and my team that I coach winning and just living the best life now that the sun's out.
Yeah, exactly. Sun's out, guns out. That's what it'll be.
Exactly. You know my vibe.
Yeah. Who else? We got Jack.
Jack's not
No
coming.
back yet.
Right.
You get it.
He's on his Jack Jones. Right, it's fine. Emma, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Congratulations on your award.
Oh, thank you. I'm kind of getting used to it now. I'm joking. But I've won more than Tottenham and Rangers in recent times. That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Trophy cabinet than Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to get the dust out either.
Oh, speak of the devil and Jack appears.
So he's like
I was
Beetlejuice.
gonna say fashionably late, but I don't even think it's that one. It was.
It was like Jack. You were like a premature Beetlejuice. I only said your name twice. So, yeah.
I should have waited for the third. Had I known that.
That's all right. How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. I've got to say congratulations to you as well, George, for your award. I'm sure the others have also said it, but yeah, I'm sure everyone who watches the pod and goes on it is super, super proud of you, mate.
Cheers, thank you, mate. Yeah, it meant a lot. I got this award on Saturday before I went to the Arsenal game. And I don't like public stuff. I don't know why I do podcasts, to be honest, because I don't like public stuff. So, but yeah, and then they said they gave the award to me, so I was like, oh, cool. So I picked the award up today, and then I'm going to an awards evening on Thursday. So, which I think I've been nominated for another award. So
to get another award, then add it to the cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think this other award's like a nationwide one. So
God, we'll be calling you Barcelona, sweeping up everything.
It'll be Arsenal from next season under the stewardship of, I don't know, Jem Beattie at the helm or something. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching so far. Also, thank you to Dorian from behind the scenes. He's like when we've got, like if you've watched the Muppets, he's like the one on the drums. Like he does all the stuff. So it's probably not the worst analogy I've gave Dorian. So we'll go with that. So we'll start obviously with the Liverpool game. I'll come to you first, Laura, and then James, seeing as you're both on the same thing. I think we saw the lineup, didn't we? And we thought, oh, you know what? They need to come out the blocks fast, make a bit of a reaction statement performance. And I think we got that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had to select that first 11 because I think if we did dropped any of them, the confidence would have dropped out of them. I know we keep saying like certain players need to be dropped for their performances, but certain players also need to start proving themselves. And I thought most of our starting 11 did that on Saturday, especially our Neymar, Leah Williamson. I thought she was absolutely fantastic on Saturday. She proved herself. She was absolutely everywhere. I don't even think Daphne needs to wash her top. I thought her backline was brilliant. Yeah, one of the best performances I've seen of us this season, actually, I would say. I was really happy with that one.
Yeah.
I think I've died. Laura has done a positive comment on Leah.
Yeah, George hasn't yet.
I was about to say, George, I also had a still, I wouldn't say negative, but a neutral comment on that one.
Like, we'll go around and get you. I've got to try and be nice in case Dorian kicks me off because he's got the power today. What my positive is about Leah Williamson is that she had a very good game for Leah Williamson. So, Jack, what was your thoughts?
I mean, obviously, it was a very good performance. I mean, I did my starting 11 and I dropped, I think, about 6 of them. So I was slightly surprised. I think Leah Williamson has these good games in her, but when it counts, when it really matters, when we come up against the top teams, Chelsea, City, Champions League games, I think she's shaky. I think I'm still worried about her in that Real Madrid game because I think when basically shit goes to shove, she's just been off it recently.
I'm going to try and be ultra positive here because I'm actually positive about the women's game. I think she'll probably stand up, because I think as long as she don't go backwards, we'll be all right. But I think she knows how massive a game Wednesday is. Like, let's be honest. I don't know. You guys might disagree. I think this is the biggest game for Arsenal Football Club since Wolfsburg.
Yep.
Because if we obviously can get through, turn it around, like, it does help playing on a proper pitch, like we've seen, instead of playing on Spain's version of their new water park. Like, it's, I don't know. Right, I know people said, oh, they were worried after the weekend because they managed to beat Barcelona, but like, come on, guys, be realistic. They rested a few players from Real Madrid anyway, but the league's over. Like, ain't Barcelona like about 1 million points ahead or something? Like, it's not really. I don't know. I wasn't really reading too much into it. I don't know what you think, James. Like, obviously going into the Real Madrid game and on the Liverpool performance, I thought we come out like guns firing, really.
Yeah, I mean, can't really fault the Liverpool performance. I thought we did play well. But the only kind of surprise for me there was, and I think it's more of a statement, was the fact that we didn't start Manu in goal. I think that's Arsenal's statement of Manu won't be an Arsenal player next year. And I said that in the chat because personally I wouldn't have put Daphne in if it is concussion that she was out with. But Laura made the point of we think it was more of a mental thing, and the concussion was just a cover. Saying that, I did see the Real Madrid result with Barcelona and the reaction afterwards, not just through your chat, but like Facebook, Twitter, everything, and the panic set in. I wrote us off after the last Real Madrid game. I said we were dead buried. Liverpool were even going to beat us this weekend. It's just passed. Kind of surprised by Liverpool. I thought they played very poor. But I'm now one of the ones going, you know what, a bit of confidence. As everybody says, it's a second leg, let's go for it. I was surprised by people's reaction. Being honest, it's going to take a massive push on Wednesday night for us to beat Real Madrid. But I do think if we play it right, we can do it just.
Yeah, I do. I would say I'm a bit more confident now than I was a couple of days ago. Chantel, I'll come to you. Was you surprised like how easy the performance seemed to be against Liverpool? I didn't think that it would have been Liverpool would have been as poor as they was. I agree we were as good as well, but did that surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, like, you've seen Liverpool get rid of their coach, and this new coach has had a couple of games which she's doing a Renee Slegger's version of winning their games. So they're coming off strong. And the way they played against us in the FA Cup, we weren't at our best, but it seemed to be that the tables turned around. Like, we always know that an away game's harder, but it just seemed like Liverpool didn't come out fighting. They weren't on form. They weren't great with their defence or their passing. So to see Arsenal take basically just dominate so much was quite shocking.
Yeah, Emma, I'll come to you. Like Dorian said, like we didn't actually let them play their game what they would normally play, did we? With Liverpool, it was quite the pressure was there from the start.
Yeah, the pressure. I think we definitely came out like we wanted the win more. But it was a really, really poor defense line from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And being stuck next to that fan constantly moaning, saying that his team was so poor, was it sort of half enjoyable, half annoying, because he couldn't really enjoy the win, really.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought we did show quite a lot of pressure. Jack, I'll come to you. We're going to talk about individual performances now. She's back, mate. Caitlin Ballam-Ford. That's all I've got to say. Just in time for the Real Madrid game. What's your views?
I don't know. I'm proper wavy when it comes to Caitlin Ford.
That's why I asked you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Caitlin Ford has a set of attributes in pace and directness and driving at the defence, which we don't have in any other players. Maybe Chloe Kelly a little bit, but even Chloe Kelly goes out wide, tends to predominantly cross the ball in, cut it back. Whereas, Caitlin Ford does just drive into the defence. She played very well. I think she played very well in the second half against Real Madrid as well, actually. And even actually that second half against Liverpool, I thought she looked decent, one of our better players. So I think she'll be key. I think she will be one of the key players.
Yeah, I think what some people forget as well is that she was playing week in, week out with great performances, wasn't she, Laura? But then she picked up that injury and she hasn't been able to settle back in. So the more time we're getting to see her play, we're actually seeing her probably get back to what she was doing from this season earlier.
Yeah, I think it was a case of again, a player being brought in far too soon from an injury with Caitlin Ford as well. We've seen it time and time again, how many players were put on a pitch that's carried an injury. They've kind of rehabilitated it, not being fully fit, but still being thrown on a pitch simply because our team selection hasn't been good enough. But again, this is where we really need to start trusting the ones that we do have on a bench. And but it's nice to see Caitlin back and getting back into that form again. Like Jack said, I genuinely thought her coming on for the second half of Real Madrid, she really ignited something, and so did Chloe Kelly as well. And I felt as well Chloe Kelly ignited something on Saturday. So I think going forward, as of right now, I think that's the two people we should start on the wings. So it is.
Yeah, cool. I agree. Also, James, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, I think the last couple of games, I think Kimmy Little's faced a lot of probably criticism more than certain other players in our fan base have, in my opinion. But I think the last couple of weeks, I think she's probably been one of our player of the matches going forward. I thought she had another great game on Saturday as well. Have you noticed what the difference is, or do you think that she's just an easy scapegoat for people to criticise?
I don't think so much she's much an easy scapegoat. I get where people come from. I was one of the ones who criticised her and criticised her quite harsh. We've all said it, can't listen, take nothing away from Kimmy Little. She is the genuine player she is. She's not got the experience there for nothing. But we've said it time and time again, we need to start managing our minutes. I think when it came to Saturday, especially, it was a royal boot had went up the backside of every single one of our players, especially after the run of performances. We threw every excuse under the sun before the game. It was pitches were bad, weather was terrible, we were knackered, we were tired, injuries. We used every excuse we could. So it was a case of, right, we're at the Emirates. It is a beautiful Saturday evening. The pitch is basically a carpet. There is no excuse. You do not have an excuse anymore. This is what fail is on you. And I think that's what's brought it, not just Kimmy Little, but brought it all the players. Kimmy Little, I see why, as it's Lisa Saturday, it shows why Arsenal gave her the contract. She's there, she's the experience, she's the player you can put in that keeps everything calm. But it's the same sort of narrative again. We need to look, A, who we're playing, B, the way they set up, the way they play, does it suit the Kimmy Little we have currently before putting her on, in my opinion. Otherwise, put her on as a game changer.
Yeah, I agree with some of that. I think you can still manage her minutes. I don't know what you think, Jack. I'll come to you first. With Kim, like, you can manage her minutes, but having her in that first 60 minutes, I think, can sometimes dictate the way the game's going to go. Like, I think the last couple of games have proved that. Like, because she has been our best, probably one of our best players in that sense. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought she was man of the match in the away leg against Real Madrid, I think. And Liverpool, again, she was very, very good. I think she's playing further forward, actually, and I think that's helping her. She's got a little bit more freedom to get around the pitch. And I think either whether she plays with Leah Volti or she plays with Kyra Cooney-Cross, having that extra freedom and not having to sit in front of the back four, which has never been Kim Little's game throughout most of her career. She's always been that more forward-thinking midfielder. And I think actually maybe Renee's taking it back to basics for her, and we're seeing her do exactly what she does best. So I'm going to give credit to Renee for this. I think a slight tactical switch in the role she wants Kim Little to play has probably led to the performances that we've seen in the past few games, because previously she's been the replacement for Volti, or Volti the replacement for her, with Kyra Cooney-Cross having much more freedom. Whereas, yeah, I think in particular the attacking formations where you've got Kyra Cooney-Cross bombing back and forward and you've also got Kim Little doing it has probably led to the better performances from her.
Yeah, because she's playing that that advanced attacking number 8 role, isn't she? Like, you've got her and Mariona Chantel bombing forward into the box, defences are not really knowing what to do with it. So surely Renee seeing now that, I'm not saying that Kim's got to play 90 minutes, 100 like that, but would you say that's the future of the midfield for the rest of the season going forward?
Forgot to turn my mic on.
Right.
So this is why I don't mute myself, because I'll make myself look like an idiot. I think if we want to start strong, it looks to be that it is going to be Little and Caldente together. It gives, when you watch the game back, Caldente will pick up the ball from the defenders, and her main goal is to drive it forward, get it up the pitch, and just attack. But she releases the ball to a winger to someone else before she's even tackled or before another team, the opposition, has a chance to close her down, which then gives us that opportunity on a goal scoring chance. And like how little, like when Little sits higher than Caldente, it gives her that chance to drive forward as well and get into positions or receiving passes that she can then play on to Russo or someone else. And I think like it showed really well at the Liverpool game, because Liverpool didn't really know how to handle the two of them together. But it's definitely like, do we start her, like both of them, every game for 90 minutes? No. Like we talk about rotations needed throughout the game and throughout the season, because otherwise these players are going to get burnt out. They are not going to become consistent because they're going to be having nothing in the tank. So then it's looking at who do you then swap them out for to keep the level that them two are putting out there for the team.
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't like on Wednesday. I wouldn't mind seeing Kyra at 6, Kim in at 8, and Mariona. But then when we played Crystal Palace at the weekend, like I don't have an issue seeing Volti and Kyra playing. So it is like what you said, Chantel. It's about rotation. But yeah, I think we're obviously got to give credit where it's due. Kim Little is probably playing some of her best football that we've seen this season. So yeah, she's doing really well. Emma, I just want to get your point of view on how Chloe Kelly played for you. What was your thoughts?
I haven't watched the commentary back yet because but I didn't really see much of her because everyone kept like jumping up and down scoring the goals. But I hope she has the game of her life on Wednesday.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I thought Chloe done all right. To be fair, like I think some people are forgetting I think the most minutes she had played previously was 84 against West Ham, so she hadn't played much regular football. So I think sometimes you have to bear that into mind. Just want to say a few comments. Mark, thank you for watching again. I know it's probably pretty early in Australia, so really, really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, mate. Scott, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I was banding the Kim Little drum for you, mate. And we've got Dorian, as always. Thank you, Andrew. He's a busy man, is our Andrew. So we never get hold of him. And Darren from work. Thank you for watching, but you should probably be working.
I mean, I'm happy he's agreed with me, so that's a point to me now.
Yeah, I'll take that. Put that on your CV if he's agreed with you. It don't happen often. So yeah, I want to go back to you, Laura, about the game. Obviously, I want to get your opinions on. I know she didn't score, but Leslie Russo, like, what was your views on her performance? I thought she played quite well as that number 9, helping do the stuff off the ball, and she was quite unlucky not to score, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, Renee touches a lot on this in the post-match interviews when she's asked about Alessia Russo and how she's feeling about her not scoring. I really couldn't care if Alessia Russo isn't scoring goals, but the others around her are and getting the goals up. I mean, the stat speaks for themselves for the first team to score 4 or more goals in the in the WSL. But it's the off, as you said, George, it's the off the ball work that she does. It's the dragging the defenders out to then allow people to cut in, or people like Mariona to take a shot the way she did on Saturday and take a goal so beautifully. We don't mind a player doing that when they're doing the work off the ball. I know we don't really. Darren says it a bit like Stina. No, no, we don't see the work that Alessia Russo did and Stina. We don't.
No.
But yeah, we know that Alessia Russo can pull players out to the wing to follow her because they just follow wherever she goes. And I like her off the ball work. I really appreciate her doing that when she's doing that. But yeah, I don't want to see a couple of goals out of her because I want to see her getting that top goal scorer this season. She's 2 away, and hopefully we can get her those goals and get her back and like goal scoring. Excuse me, sorry. Back in goal scoring form again, and it'll maybe keep our confidence up in goal scoring. I notice that sometimes that when she's not scoring goals, she's a bit frustrated. You can see it in her a little bit, but I don't think she realises the work that she's putting off the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Jack, I'm going to come to you about a couple of points. Talk about Frida. Like on Saturday, I thought she played quite well, but I thought she was quite unlucky as well because she hit the post and the bar a couple of times. But it's the Frida we've seen, isn't it, Jack? Like, so that'll happen, but then she'll go and bang one in from 20 yards on Wednesday.
Yeah, she's the world's most frustrating player, isn't she? Because she can be absolutely fucking ridiculously good, or she can be dreadful. And there's not really the in-between, and there's not really the consistency. You're almost tempted to have her on the pitch because it's not even the big game she shies away from. I mean, you think back to the amount of Champions League goals she scored in big moments, and she's a quality player. I don't know. Does our system not necessarily always get the best out of her? I don't know. But she did play very well, and I think when Frida Maanum plays well, Arsenal plays well, and it's often down to the way she plays, the speed she moves the ball, her passing, she drives with it. So yeah, if we can get the best out of Frida Maanum, then it's only going to be a positive.
Yeah. I just think, like you said, Jack, she can be frustrating, but she sometimes, well, we've seen it before, isn't it? There's no disagreeing with it, but she picks those big moments. So that maybe Wednesday could be a big moment. Would you start her on Wednesday?
No, I think on Wednesday, and this might be quite controversial, I'd go a little bit conservative in the approach. I don't think we have to win the game in the first half. 2-0 is quite a dangerous lead for Real Madrid. And I watched the Barcelona-Real Madrid game at the weekend. And Real Madrid came flying out the blocks that first 25, 30 minutes against Barcelona and hit them, really. And then Barcelona got the ball, spent the rest of the game trying to recover, but they took the lead, and then it was very much more difficult to get it off them. I don't think if we go in 0-0 at half-time, it's a disaster. With some of the players we can take off the bench. We score a goal in the 75th minute to make it 1-0. Real Madrid, who have had very little experience in the Champions League and have never got to the semi-finals before, they're going to shit themselves, basically. So I don't think we need to panic, and I don't think we need to necessarily try and win it in the first 20 minutes. I think we can lose the tie if we concede in the first 20 minutes, but I'm not convinced we can necessarily win it.
Yeah, I do. I do think I would like us to get an early goal, but it's one of those things that you don't want to get it too early as well. I know that sounds a bit silly, but if you got it in the first couple of minutes and then you're struggling, it can get a bit. So I think if we come out and play how we played on Saturday, I think we've got a very good chance. James, I want to come to you. Obviously, we saw another brilliant kind of performance and another brilliant goal from Mariona. What have you got to say about Mariona? I think she scored 14 goals this season.
I'll be honest, I've not really sat the Italian counted how many she scored. I think Mariona, I like Mariona. I really do. Same with most Arsenal fans. But she's one of those players you need to give her the freedom. we've seen it in games before. We've kind of tried to tie her to the wing or tie her at that sort of number 10 position, and it restricts her. Whereas watching on Saturday was as if it was sort of, this is kind of your role, this is your position, but just, yeah, the picture's yours, do what you like. And we've seen the best of that now. It's, again, an offer. As much as she's good on the ball, her offer ball approach is good as well. You can see it's the game's constantly ticking in her head, and it's as if she's 2 seconds ahead of absolutely everybody else on that pitch.
Yeah.
But for Wednesday, I would play her the same way. Don't tie her down to a position, give her that freedom, because I think she could be one of the big keys to unlocking Real Madrid. I think if we try and tie her down, whether it be in a wing or even in an attacking sense, I think it would then restrict her and she'd get back to that first leg performance way we've seen from her, where she just did not look interested. She couldn't do her football, and it basically put as a player down.
Yeah. But yeah, with Mariona, I think we all know that she is probably one of our best players, and hopefully some of them players will thrive and get to the level of, say, Mariona. I don't have a clue what the hell's going on in the chat. Like, what the fuck's Jack Bingo? Have I missed something?
They're waiting for them to say Grimsby, and
I'll tell you what, the poker face is not easily kept. I'm on the border of absolutely pissing myself.
I was like, what bloody hell? It's not like we've got a show. It's not like we've got a show on, guys, or nothing. No, don't worry. Don't drop your comments about the show. We'll just talk about Jack's bingo. Right. Anyway.
Can I touch a little bit on what obviously Jack was saying about we don't need to score in the first half. I noticed it a bit in the Liverpool game. Just the patience, just allowing play to build up just before our goals. And I actually thought that worked better for Arsenal. Just being patient on the ball, patient getting the ball forward. It allowed our passing to flow a lot better. Players not getting frustrated that if things didn't work for them. It worked a lot better for Arsenal, and I don't think Liverpool were expecting us to come out and be so slow on the ball and just enjoying actually having possession rather than having to feel like we had to score straight away. And I think that's what baffled Liverpool a little bit, and I think that's what we definitely need to do against Real Madrid. Just take it nice and slow, nice and patient, and eventually, hopefully, the goals will come for us.
Yeah, I just think we just need to be a little bit patient, like we saw in the game on Saturday, and we have seen it throughout the season in some points. So there's been some games where we've been a bit frustrated, but then the goals have come. So I think we've got a possibility as well. Like, so as long as someone's got fireworks outside the Madrid hotel or something, that'll do. Chantal, I'm going to come to you as well. Obviously, Beth Mead's come off the bench again. I've said on a number of times, I think she offers so much coming off a bench. The option to have Beth Mead coming off the bench when, like, some of the defences are getting tired is such a impressive place for us to be in. Would you agree with that? Because I think when she's come off the bench, like we saw against Everton and then Saturday, it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, if you look at the style between Ford and Kelly with how they play throughout the whole game, you've got one driving towards defenders who has pace, and then Kelly's got pace and causing havoc as well. So then by the time you bring Mido on, the defenders are expecting the pace, the driving in, and Mido offers such a different game to that. And like, it almost takes them by shock before they kind of get used to it, and then the defense knackered as well. So then when you're bringing power on like her and such an impactful player, I think it drives her more to be like, look what I can do. I should be starting, but then also, like, this is where you do your rotations, that she hasn't got to start every game because she can offer so much when there's half an hour, 20 minutes left to the game, and vice versa. If you do Ford or Kelly, if Mido's played most of the game, then bring one of them on just to change the game up a little bit.
Yeah. Scott, story of my life, mate. Story of my life. But going to you, Emma, as well. I think this is the good and the positive way where we have options. So obviously on the wing we have Caitlin and Chloe Kelly, but then we have Beth that can come off the bench, and she, like we all know, she can create something out of nothing, don't we?
Yeah, Beth. I'm a massive fan of Beth, and she's incredible. I just wish they could all start at the same time and just like attack and attack. But then again, we'd have to like be extremely careful with the defense. But I don't see her starting on Wednesday, to be perfectly honest. I think she's proved that she can make an impactful appearance, but I don't want Renee to leave it too late for her to make an impact.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Final point before we move on to the Real Madrid game, Jack. I think some of us going into the game thought, we needed to be careful of Olivia Smith for Liverpool. I thought the game plan and the defensive performance against Olivia Smith, kind of putting 2 players on her in each time, was quite impressive from an Arsenal point of view. They learned from that. But what does that say for what teams are now thinking of a player like Olivia Smith?
Yeah, she's quality, isn't she? I mean, she's so good and so young. Like, I remember me and Andrew were talking, and she can become a homegrown player, I think, in about 1 year to 2 years' time, because of how young she is and how young she came into the WSL. So, yeah, we'd definitely someone I'd love for us to sign. We dealt with her well, but to be fair to her, when she's playing for Liverpool in a poor team, any game where she stands out against the bigger teams is impressive on its own, because she gets so little of the ball. She gets not great delivery into her quite often. So she's having to really work every effort out on her own. So yeah, I'm still very impressed with her. I just think actually we defended properly against her on Sunday, whereas we didn't defend properly the previous week.
Yeah, cool. I think Darren wants us to sign Clinton. I don't think that's happening, but yeah. I would be surprised if that happened. I wouldn't mind Clinton, but I'd be surprised. But yeah, we're going to look forward to, before we end the show, obviously Real Madrid on Wednesday. We've basically touched upon it already, but Laura, your feelings going into the game? I think it's going to be quite a topsy-turvy feelings about the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be nervy. It's going to be nervy, but like I said, I think we just need to be patient, and I think we will get the win. As James said earlier on, I think they've had a real kick up the ass that they needed. And I think, of course, obviously, the way we seen Leah leave the pitch last week, it's really upset her to light a fire in her belly. It's gave Kim Little the fire in her belly as well, and hopefully a few other players will have that fire there as well. Yeah, I think we will get the win, but it will be a very, very nervy one.
Yeah. James, what's your views on the game? I think obviously we know that the girls were disappointed after last week, so they're going to want to have a reaction as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Of course, they're going to want a reaction. I mean, I think everybody's going to want a reaction. I'm going to be controversial to what everybody else has said going into the game. I want an early goal. I don't care if it's a steer offside. I want an early goal, because that early goal is what's going to turn the heat up on Real Madrid. That's going to get the crowd going. Everybody's going to be buzzing. We're in it. We're fighting. We're going for it. And the crowd is what's going to, for me, is what's going to win Arsenal the game. Because
I agree with
that pouring down on Real Madrid, I don't think Real Madrid will be able to handle that.
Especially as well when it's already been quoted at the moment that there's going to be 20,000 fans there. Now, I don't think Real Madrid has played under 20,000 people, not even against Barcelona. So, and especially a very loud crowd at that. We're not a very quiet crowd, are we? So I think the pressure will be on. I thought the pressure would have been on them when we took a very small crowd to their ground, but yeah, I think they may be a bit rocky by the way our crowd will want to have the girls' backs on the night.
Yeah, I do agree with that, actually. I've been playing with that. The crowd needs to be all behind Arsenal. You've got to kind of make it, I'm not saying intimidating that people are scared, but you've got to make that noise so Real Madrid think, well, hold on, never heard anything like this before. I agree with about them away in Madrid, but because it was such a small allocation, I think that's what kind of goes against you a little bit and where the allocation was. So I think, like you say, a bit of pressure at the start of the game, Chantel. The louder the blocks can be, and it needs to not just be like where specific allocations are, or block 15, block 10, but all around the ground.
Yeah, no, we've discussed it on previous podcasts for our time doing this, that the atmosphere really much makes it or breaks it with Arsenal sometimes. Like when the crowd's behind them, the players live for that. We've got the best fan base, and the players really like strive on like our fan base that we have. So like we were talking about it in our chat about there was times in the Liverpool game that the atmosphere dipped a little bit and you could hear briefly from block 10 or block 15. I started trying to get my block going, but it's quite hard when there's like only 3 of you chanting. So this is a plead to all the fans that are going, who's watching, get behind your team. We're gunners for a reason, and like be loud and be proud. Definitely got to come out fighting, not from the fans, but from the players as well. I think, like James said, an early goal, even if it's a Steen or offside goal, just to shake Real Madrid and be like, oh, they've come out fighting, like, and unnerve them. I feel like that's what we got to do. If we unnerve them early on and Arsenal can stay calm, cool, and collected, I think it could easily be our game that we take the win throughout the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, because the way you've got to look at it as well is 2-0. Jack, I'll go to you. Obviously, it's 2-0, an early goal. I think we're all experienced in football. A lot of people said the most dangerous lead in a game is 2-0 because one goal brings it to 2-1. You're back in the game. So that goal, the noise, that will put so much pressure on to Real Madrid. Obviously, you'll know more than I do, but have they played under a crowd that big, or maybe not regularly?
Regularly. I mean, they have played, well, they played against Barcelona, I think, in a 90,000 seater, but full sold out Nou Camp, but they lost. They don't tend to do well under pressure. I'd love an early goal for my blood pressure, for my heart rate, just for my own sanity. But I think we're saying with the fans, we can't get disheartened if it's 0-0, 60, 70 minutes. We're still very, very much alive in the game. If we keep a clean sheet, I think we go through. I think it's as simple as that. We will score the goals. I think Stina probably holds the key to the whole tie because I don't think she played badly in that first half against them. Real Madrid will leave space in behind, and I wouldn't even be opposed to starting her this game because I think Madrid are going to push forward. They know if it goes 3-0, more than likely they're through. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually they throw a little bit of caution to the wind, go for it, and then even we can get a goal on a break. But yeah, so my message to the fans is just if it goes 0-0, 60 minutes, let's not start panicking. Let's not start grumbling, moaning, or being quiet. Because if Real Madrid and if Arsenal, both teams play to the best of their ability, we go through. We've got a better team, we've got a better bench. So they're not Barcelona, so we shouldn't fear them.
Can't promise anything, Jack. Honestly, can't promise anything about being patient till 60 minutes.
I do agree, but yeah, go on.
I just want to touch base on what Jack said about Stina being the key. In the Real Madrid game, you can see that the pace that they were bringing really got to us, but the pace that Stina offers, she can get behind the players. And I know we can't blame the pitch for everything, but when you're doing through balls, the mud and the water is taking the speed out of that through ball. So on our pitch, the through balls that the midfield can bring, Stina can easily run onto them and get that goal and bring us back into it. So I agree with Jack. Like, put Stina on. What do we have to lose?
I'd love to see a front 4 or 5 of Caldente on one wing, Russo down the middle, Ford or Kelly on the other wing, and Stina up top. Was one of the great strengths of Russo. And I remember, I think it was Ian Wright in his podcast was talking about it, is putting them on the turn and putting them through balls through. Like Real Madrid play a really, really high line. And if there's one thing Stina loves, it's a high line, also offside. But is the VAR? We might be all right maybe on that front.
It's okay. If she starts, she'll get 3 attempts, and then by the third attempt, she scores.
I do agree with what people are saying, like the different options. I do think our bench is going to be the one that probably gets us over the line, because I think Beth will probably, like we've said, Emma as well, Beth will probably start on the bench, won't she? And that's an option. Having a firing Beth Mead against a tiring Real Madrid defence back 4 is going to be really key.
Yeah, definitely. She's I hope that she'll have the well, I wouldn't say I hope that she has the anger, but I hope she has the passion enough to come off the bench and change the tide, because we really need some trophies.
Yeah.
And I apologise to everyone seeing my facial expressions. Jared Bowen missed a howler of an attempt.
Oh, that's fine. As long as it's not an Arsenal player, I'm not bothered.
No, Lewis will be scoring again tonight.
Hopefully. So yeah, I'm gonna go around get your predictions, because we're coming towards the end of the show. So I will start. Actually, I'll start with you, Emma. What's your predictions and first goal scorer?
Oh, first goal scorer. I'm gonna say Chloe Kelly, and 4 minutes in.
Cool.
And the final score, I say it's gonna be probably a 4-0, so we'll win on aggregate by 4-2.
Cool. Laura?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Chloe Kelly as well. And I'm going to go for a scrappy 3-2 aggregate one. Can I get that out of there? Yeah, I think we'll just scrape by with that one extra goal. And yeah.
Cool. James?
I'm going for 3-0 on the night. My first goal scorer, I'm going to go with Stina Blackstenius. She's going to set the roof. It's going to set the roof off first 10 minutes.
And Darren just did a wee happy dance.
Yeah. Everyone's going to hate my predictions. I'll wait till last. Chantel?
I'm going to go... I always jinx whoever I pick because they end up starting on the bench. So
Pick Stina.
I'll go Stina.
Good.
I'm going to say that we're going to take it 2-0 full time and then go to extra time. And we're going to claw that final goal to give us a 3-2 aggregate.
Cool. I thought you were the Nick man then. Jack?
I think it's exactly the same as Chantal's. I think it's going to be 3-0 with the third goal coming in extra time. I can't see us winning it if we don't keep a clean sheet. And I think Stina's going to come off the bench. I don't think Rene will start her. So I'm going to go for a 65th minute goal, first goal for Stina. I think we're going to be nervy, but I think, yeah, I've got confidence we'll get through.
All right. Here's my prediction.
Hold your breath, everyone.
Yeah. I think it's going to be 2-0 and we win on penalties. Yeah, and I think we're all going to be, and I think Stina's going to score the winning penalty. just to prove a point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say 3-4-0 because then that sounds like I'm disrespecting Real Madrid, and I think they're a bit better than that. But yeah, I just think we'll do enough, take it to extra time, both be tired, and I think it'll go to penalties. Which ain't good for my train, but it is what it is.
Ain't good for my 2-hour drive back home for working the next morning either.
No, I'm not working. I'm working from home the next day, so I might have to stay at yours, Chantal.
I don't want
in the car.
I don't want to shit on your prediction, George, but I've now witnessed a grand total, I think, of 7 penalty shootouts in my life, and I'm currently no wins, 7 losses.
Well, that's why your trains are going to be delayed and probably cancelled on Wednesday. Then that's fine, mate.
But then here's a great debate, though: who's better at penalties, Daffy or Manu?
Are you seriously asking that?
Well, Manu's like penalties, and he's have been great so far.
I'd love Manu to get subbed on in the 120th minute and go and make the winning penalty save.
I think the better question after that is who's better at taking penalties, Arsenal or Real Madrid?
I'll be honest. See if it goes to penalties, Arsenal are fucked. I honestly do. I don't think we'll have penalties in us. We need to kill it in the 120. If it goes to penalties, and here's my thought process on it, your first set of penalty takers are generally your strikers. And I think the heartbreaker is going to be when Russo step up for the first one and miss it.
I think Mariona takes the first one for me.
I put Kelly as the first one. Use her power.
I think you'd have Mariona take the first one. If Kim was still on the pitch, I think she would take one. So I think Russo would probably be 3 or 4 for me. It depends who's on the pitch at the time, obviously. But yeah, I think we've seen in some teams that it's not always the strikers. Believe me, guys, I hope it don't go to penalties because I think me and Mel will probably be getting carried out if we're the amount of drink that we could probably had by then. But I'm not sure. I went cautious.
I do think you're right, though, George. I think it's going to be tight because, we've talked a lot about the positives of Arsenal. But, Real Madrid have just beaten Barcelona for, the first time in how long? Their players having beaten us and then Barcelona must be on a proper high as well. And it wasn't a weakened Barcelona team that was put out. They put out a team to win it because, obviously, they're pretty much through in their tie against Wolfsburg.
Yeah, but whenever I go cautious, that we do a lot better. I said, we'll probably just beat Liverpool 2-1, then we won 4-0. I said, I think we'll probably beat Spurs 2 or 3-0. We beat them, I think was it 5 or 6 or whatever that was. So that's my thought process. And I said we would win 1-0 against West Ham and we won 4-3. So technically I was right.
But another thing I've also got a question on is, has Real Madrid ever played on a bigger pitch than the Emirates? like, have they played on that kind of scale of a pitch?
Probably Nou Camp, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say the new camp is probably the only one.
And they really struggled. If I remember that game, they really struggled with space on that kind of pitch. So that's the only other thing I can think of that's going to go our way is the space on the Emirates that they're not going to be used to.
Yeah.
I know I've done pessimistic tonight though, but I've already made my travel arrangements for Lyon. Touch wood.
Yeah, I think you have to be positive. Like, obviously we're at home. We've seen how we can play at home at the Emirates. Obviously, we've set that record of being at home. Is it like scoring 4 goals in a game? So is it 6 in a row?
Yeah.
So, like, let's be honest. Like, we've got a good chance. Do we go and score 4 against Madrid? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think we all, like you say, we have to bring the noise, remember who we are, what we represent, where we come from. Like they all say about Arsenal. Like, all we can do is lay everything on the line and try. If we get knocked out and we give everything, obviously I'll be gutted, but it's a bit easier to swallow. If we go to the Emirates and it's pathetic performance, then we have a lot to complain about. So
I'll be honest, George. I think we've got to go through. I think the mistakes we made in the first leg were so bad, so sloppy, and so poor that if we don't go through, that's all I'm going to be able to think about. That ball going under Leah Williamson's foot, the backing off for that strike, and the poppadom wrists of Manu Zinsberger. I mean, they're going to haunt me for a long time if we don't go through on that one because it was so avoidable.
Yeah. They're saying that you weren't at Tottenham's the penalty shootout win against Tottenham at the Conti Cup, Jack.
No,
in the chat.
no,
So,
sadly not.
Weren't that Super Jen Beattie? Sure it was, wasn't it? I'm sure she scored the winner. This is where I need Mel. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Super Jen Beattie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. On that note, we'll finish there. Thank you to my guests. So, thank you, Emma. Hope to see you Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming on Wednesday, and I'm in block 15 this time, so I'm definitely not leaving early because the crowd is incredible.
Cool. I should be actually there earlier. I was hoping to get there for 4. So, but someone at my work has cancelled their home visit, so that's a shame. So I might be able to get there a bit earlier.
Cool.
And
See you there.
And I'm in the atmosphere block. I'm not in the bot. I'm not in the Sky Sports box, and they don't do European. Chantel, thank you for coming on.
Thank you again. See you Wednesday. I don't know where I'm sitting. That's how prepared I am for it. But leaving on a positive note, Renee said after the Liverpool game, like, once you're prepared for that team, how you prepare for it is how you can come out and take it. So she's seen what Real Madrid has done now. So I'm hoping that she's prepared the team, and that's why we're going to take victory.
Well, she got prepared for Liverpool when we lost in the cup. She went and battered them 4-0 and sent them back to South London, so it's fine. Jack, I will see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I've got to work before it, but hopefully I will be able to get out, and I think I'll be on one of the last trains that makes it in time. So if you see me sweating in the group chat, I'll be battling Northern or LNER trains all the way to London.
Yeah, you have my sympathy, mate.
I might delay your train just so you miss the penalties.
Yeah, to be fair, I would be willing to sacrifice it. I know that Darren.
So would we, mate. Like, we're not selfish.
Although I know that we wanted a Grimsby mention, all 7 penalty shootouts were taken by Grimsby.
Well, so there you go. The Grimsby mention.
As with most things in my life, they could be the problem.
Full house.
But they said, Darren's got his bingo. I laugh if he just shouted randomly, bingo! So, Laura, thank you as always. I'll see you
we are hoping if we get through, we'll be at the semi-final for definite. If not, it's going to be the Man U game.
When we secure second place after Leslie Russo scores the last-minute winner against Man United.
Yeah, it is.
I was hoping that would be the title-winning game, but obviously the referees put pay to that. They just don't like seeing us happy, do they? So, yeah. James, thank you as well.
You're welcome, mate. Always a pleasure. Hope you enjoy Wednesday. I'm sure he'll be screaming all the way for Glasgow.
I'll make sure.
I was about to say something really stupid then. I was when you're coming, but obviously you'll be coming with Laura, wouldn't you?
Well, look, I've not told Laura yet. I'm coming down myself now. If we make it,
are we going to get a watch along from you two? Because I tell you what, that would be.
If George wants a watch,
we can have one. I don't know many people understand it and bring a pair of earplugs.
I think they've clicked on to BBC Scotland.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, I can arrange something with George off the chat if that's what he's wanting.
Yeah, why not? We'll see. We'll talk about it afterwards. So yeah, also just thanks to Dorian for basically helping with the show and stuff. We will be back. Well, actually, we'll be back on Friday, hopefully with a new guest, and we've got a couple of new people coming up, so that'll be good. And hopefully Friday's show is all about us celebrating our victory against Real Madrid and looking forward to going to Sutton to play Crystal Palace. So good night, everyone. Take care and keep safe.